Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. Back with some more vibe for you. So how you all doing out there, man? How you all doing out there? And this is I'm doing the series on Alexander. You know what I mean? And I'm like really enjoying the series. I'm enjoying the whole history of the vibe and thing. You know what I mean? And this one is called Alexander the Great, Part 3. Yes, I. But before I go on there, I'm gonna do a couple of shout outs. All right. Now, a gentleman. Okay, I'm not going to say a gentleman because I don't know. It's not names that I know. I'm assuming it's a gentleman, and the name is Thanos D. And he said that he was watching this because it feel like he's watching it with somebody because where he is in Greece, I do believe there's lockdown for the pandemic. So he said watching this video is like watching it with somebody because he was going to watch it himself anyway, but watching this makes it feel like he's watching it with somebody. And in fact, one of the reasons why I started doing these reactions is because of pretty much the same reason. There's not a lockdown here, but I pretty much lock myself down. I go to work, I come home, and I watch YouTube videos. And this is how this whole reaction channel come to be, So I'm sitting here talking to y'all, man. We having a conversation. We like farming thing, you know what I mean? So, and thank you for commenting, brother. You know what I mean? And I hope you're taking care of yourself. And for everybody, if you take care of yourself, that means you take care of all the people around you. You know what I mean? You don't pass it on. And I understand the severity of the situation because I just had a co-worker died not last week, but the week before from the pandemic. It was like she was there 1 week. And then the next week, this husband works there too. He said she had the flu or something, and then within about a week and a half, she was gone. So this is some serious stuff. So please take care of yourself and take care of each other. If you take care of yourself, that means you're taking care of everybody around you. Please take care of each other, okay? And Mr. Thanos, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and I hope I'm not messing anything up here. I have a drink here too. Though it's not the same beverage that you are partaking in, I'm still having a drink here. Salute. All right. So, and the next shout out I'm going to do, and I hope I get this one right too, it's .sec165. .sec165. Big shout out to you thing. Hope you're taking care of yourself there. And I'm watching this on a Monday, so I do hope that you have a really good week coming up. It's been raining a lot where I am. Listen, where I am, we went from snow and ice to what did we have? Lots of wind and stuff, and now to kind of a spring type thing where the sun was shining, and all of a sudden now we're living in the rainforest. It's just raining and raining. It's been raining for a while now. It's kind of stopped earlier today, but I'm babbling. And of course, I'm Mr. Giant. You know who I am, right? Mr. Giant. Like the shirt said, Giant. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer. We're watching Alexander the Great, the 3rd episode.
In 334 BC, Alexander, 21-year-old ruler of the small Greek kingdom of Macedonia, led an invasion of the vast Persian Empire. It seemed impossible odds. But thanks to Greek...
Before I continue here, I had a comment that says that Alexander was Macedonian, as if it was alluding to that he's not Greek. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on that? Is he Greek? Is he considered Macedonian? Hit me up. Tell me what to go on here. And no arguing. Just, say what it is. You know what I mean? Say what you believe it is. That's all. Just start a little communication.
Greek military dominance and Alexander's fearless leadership, he won 2 great battles against the Persians. At the river Granicus and at Issus. Having subdued Persian lands west of the Euphrates River, he now headed east into the empire's heartlands, seeking a final showdown with the Persian king, Darius III.
Final showdown, people.
Receiving news that a great Persian army led by Darius had assembled at Gaugamela, near modern Mosul in Iraq, he made straight for it. This was Darius's last chance to stop Alexander, and Alexander's chance to smash Persian power once and for all.
Here we go. The big battle. We say battle. It's battle, I know that, but we say battle.
Darius had chosen to fight on open ground, where his advantage in numbers would be more telling. His soldiers had also worked hard to clear and flatten the terrain, to make it suitable for Persian war chariots. By modern estimates, the Persian army was between 50 and 80,000 strong, and made up of contingents from across the empire. Infantry from Syria and Babylonia.
Formations.
Cavalry from Armenia, India, and Central Asia.
You know, do they even have formations in modern warfare? I mean, does it even translate, especially with the weaponry that is being used? I mean, the war is sort of transforming because now we having drone strikes like crazy, so land battles may become kind of sort of obsolete in the future. And of course, the ones that are going to be fighting, that is the richer countries, because the poor countries, we can't have drones. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the room to put up drones and stuff like that. I know, like my island, I could walk it in a day. Where are we going to put that stuff?
Up to 200 scythed chariots. Even a handful of war elephants. Alexander's army was smaller and may have been outnumbered by as much as 2 to 1. He deployed his units in their usual formation. On the left flank, Thracian and Thessalian cavalry, commanded by Parmenion. In the center, the Macedonian veterans of the phalanx, each armed with their 18-foot sarissa pike. On the right flank, Alexander with his elite cavalry, the companions, and his best infantry, the hypaspists. These were the units with which Alexander planned to launch his main attack. Greek hoplites formed a second line and supported both wings, which were angled back to guard against encirclement by the Persians.
Man, a battle plan. You see that?
The battle began when Alexander led his wing out to the right, a move that took the Persians by surprise. Could Alexander really be trying to encircle their huge army? The Persians mirrored his movement, taking troops away from their center to outflank Alexander and prevent him leaving the area they'd cleared for the Persian chariots. But Alexander's unusual maneuver was a trap to entice the Persians to weaken their center. When he saw that it had worked, he ordered his Greek cavalry to charge to keep the Persians fixed in position. A giant cavalry battle developed on the right wing. Darius, meanwhile, judging this to be the decisive moment, unleashed his chariots.
Okay. It seems like the stronger military forces counteracting instead, instead of acting first. They seem to be counteracting. Oh, he did this, so let me do that. So then Alexander had the opportunity to dictate the battle itself. Because they seem to be counteracting. It's like they're sitting there waiting. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? So I'll do this. Not thinking that he's trying to weaken the center or anything like that. You know, they're just counteracting to what he's doing. It seems like they're already scared.
Expert Agrianes javelin throwers took out horses and crews, while the Greek infantry opened lanes, allowing the chariots to pass harmlessly through. Now Alexander led his companion cavalry and parts of the Macedonian phalanx in a headlong charge straight at the weakened Persian centre, fighting his way towards Darius himself. The sudden ferocity of Alexander's assault threw the Persians into panic. The centre of the army broke and ran. King Darius
seems like they're
himself
panicked already.
leading the
Counteract
rout.
him.
But Alexander's left wing was in serious trouble. Parmenion, facing a huge onslaught by Persian cavalry, was virtually surrounded. Indian and Scythian horsemen had even ridden through a gap in the Greek line. But rather than wheeling and attacking the Greeks from behind, they'd carried straight on to loot their camp. Parmenion sent a desperate appeal to Alexander for help. The king abandoned his pursuit of Darius, regrouped, and charged the Persian right wing.
Oh man.
It was the hardest and bloodiest fighting of the battle, claiming the lives of 60 of Alexander's companions. Finally, as news of Darius's flight spread across the battlefield, the last Persian horseman turned and fled. The Battle of Gaugamela was a stunning and complete victory for Alexander. According to ancient sources, he lost just a few hundred men, while the Persians lost thousands.
Wow.
Alexander had routed Darius's great army. And now the road to Babylon, the empire's main capital, lay open. The Macedonian king entered the great city in triumph, recognized by Persian officials as its new rightful ruler. So too at the city of Susa, where Alexander ceremonially took his seat upon the royal throne of Persia. In the Zagros Mountains, at a pass known as the Persian Gates, a courageous Persian force held up Alexander's army for a month. The Greeks eventually found a mountain.
Can you imagine all them cities falling and you know your city's coming next? You know what I mean? And I don't want to equate so much, but it's like, you know somebody's coming, you know they're stronger than you, and you just helpless, kind of. You know, it's kind of like when it happened to on the small island that I was. You know they come in, oh, they got fighter jets, they have planes dropping people out in the air, from the air, and you know, I never seen nothing like that before. But the initial feeling before it all began, I should say, because it's the past, it's the most terrifying feeling. It's the most numbing feeling. It's questioning whether you're gonna come out alive on the next side. You know what I mean? That's just a terrifying feeling when you know a war is coming. You know it's coming, and though I guess because of back then, you know, they would enslave people and stuff. You know that's not going to happen to you, at least not physically, because when you get, I don't want to say conquered per se, but you know, when things like that happen, when an intervention and an occupation happen, a whole new culture is sort of introduced to you, because the best way to dominate a people anymore is to do it ideologically And after the invasion happened, where I was, there was an influx of religions. They all came in big numbers. So I'm not, and it's not even, I don't think it's a political plan, but that's what seemed to work, because look at how the main two religions spread across the world after the influx of people from that other culture that's stronger and have the military might, you know what I mean, or just the mental might, I should say, to come in and change things. So that's even scary, because you don't know what's happening after they're there and after it's occupied.
Path that bypassed their position, allowing them to encircle and wipe out the defenders. In early 330 BC, Alexander reached Persepolis, the empire's ceremonial capital. Alexander wanted to appear as a liberator to the Persians, as a legitimate successor to King Darius. But now he ordered Persepolis to be pillaged and burnt. Retribution for the Persian invasion of Greece and the burning of Athens' sacred temples in 480 BC.
See what I'm saying about war? They're going to remember something for years before, and they're going to take, if they get the power, they're going to retribution for a war past.
Alexander now headed north into Media, where Darius had taken refuge in the royal city of Ecbatana. Alexander was determined to capture Darius, but the fugitive king fled east in the hope of raising a new army in the provinces of Parthia, Bactria, and Sogdia. It was not
He's not giving up.
As Alexander closed in, the Persian king was murdered by one of his own governors, Bessus, who then proclaimed himself the empire's new ruler.
Such a man at his weakest
gave
moment.
orders for Darius to be buried in the royal tombs of Persepolis, alongside his ancestors. Then he paused to organize his vast new empire. Alexander appointed viceroys to rule the provinces on his behalf, keeping several Persians who had sworn loyalty in their posts. Then he resumed his march east, his goal to find and kill the usurper Bessus, subjugate the empire's eastern provinces, and reach the far edge of the world. Research and artwork for this.
Man, that's crazy. I can't imagine in those times, you know what I mean? Because that was a lot of manpower. Now there's a lot of machine power, but there's a lot of manpower that's going on there. That's just crazy. Those people knowing it's coming, children at the time and all of that. That's just crazy though. But I'm telling you, man, I'm enjoying this series here. I hope you are too, and I hope you're watching it with me and enjoying it. I hope I'm not annoying you with my stoppages and stuff. And I like to equate past with new, especially when I have a certain experience that's similar to that, but not on that scale. It's not in that scale at all, period. It's not even close to that scale. But still, I go with human emotion more than I go with human quantity, because we all feel the same thing, whether the situation is less severe than the other situation, the human feeling is still the same. But anyway, I ain't gonna keep babbling on yet. Comment down below, tell me what you think, give me any information that you may have, you know what I mean, and then tell me, what the vibe is. Go ahead and let's grow the family. Why not? You know what I mean? I was watching it alone. I felt alone. I started watching it here and reacting to it so that you could come and watch it with me. The more the merrier. One big family. Go ahead and subscribe and thing like that, and because I'm gonna stick strictly with the history now because I'm really enjoying that. You know what I mean? I'm really enjoying doing the history, so I'm gonna stick with that. In the meantime, though, take care of each other. All right? Cool runnings.